Welcome to Basics of Membership. I'm Georgia Strickland, your VP of Membership. PTA has remained focused on our vision and mission for over 100 years. This is our dream for every child, that every child's potential is reality. The mission explains how we will accomplish our collective vision. That mission is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. These are words every student, parent, teacher, and community member should be able to support. The common bond among all PTAs can be found in our purposes. These PTA purposes help guide us in our work at all levels of the association. Your programs and activities should always be aligned with these purposes. As a national and statewide organization, PTA values collaboration, commitment, diversity, respect, accountability. PTA observes the national standards for family-school partnerships. All PTAs should be welcoming all families into the school community, communicating effectively, supporting student success, speaking up for every child, sharing power, collaborating with community. Implementing these 6 standards will foster positive family engagement at your campus. Texas PTA has had a cultural diversity and inclusion policy since July of 2012. However, in an effort to stay in alignment with the recently updated national PTA policy, the Texas PTA Board of Directors assigned a task force to update that existing policy. The task force produced and the Board of Directors approved the policy partially shown on the screen in April of 2021. To see the full policy and to find helpful resources from National PTA and Texas PTA, please go to txpta.org/DEI-task-force. Your connection with PTA means you are part of the largest child advocacy association in the country. It also means that you have access to resources that are dedicated to helping families to help students succeed, improve family engagement in education, inform members on legislation impacting education, support running successful local PTAs. On the next couple of slides, we will see some of the specific resources from National PTA and Texas PTA. The National PTA website is a huge resource that's supported mainly by member dues. Have any of you ever visited the National PTA website? It is well worth spending at least half an hour getting acquainted with it. Our Children magazine is the leading source of PTA-related news with content on topics ranging from curriculum and family engagement to advocacy and fundraising. Special Education Toolkit. This toolkit helps make sense of an often confusing system and educates families of newly diagnosed children with special needs on how to get the best special education services and resources available to them. Marketing materials. The official Back to School Kit is a set of resources for local leaders to use as you serve your communities and manage your local units. This kit includes easy-to-use guides, customizable tools, and materials for the president, treasurer, and membership, and even the program chairs. If you have any questions regarding the Back to School Kit, please contact backtoschool@pta.org. Member benefits. Check the website for current benefits. AARP, Boxed, Hertz, LifeLock, LifeTouch, just to name a few. Texas PTA Resources have free parent workshops on reading to young children, bullying, internet safety. There's also information on the Reflections National Art Program, Kids First programs, and many more. These next two slides show some of the resources provided by Texas PTA and supported by member dues. Have any of you heard about these resources? How many of them have been used at your local PTA? Did you know that Texas PTA offers scholarships for both students and faculty and outstanding educator awards? This is a great way to encourage membership and share the impact the educators in your community have on PTA. You'll also find resources to improve family engagement at your campus, like the Reflections National Art Program and the Kids First program. And then there are many online newsletters with specific areas of focus, including Under the Dome. Texas PTA's advocacy newsletter. Be sure you sign up for this one so you're aware of Texas PTA's legislative priorities, action alerts, and rally day. We are a member-based child advocacy association after all. And of course, you're also going to find resources to support you in your efforts with your local PTA, like this training video. The duties of local PTA executive board members are also listed in your local PTA bylaws. Foundations, Essentials, and Basics are the only training that Texas PTA requires every executive board member to take. Foundations, Essentials is an introductory course for new PTA leaders that all officers and committee chairs must take at least one time in their PTA career. The course is offered online for a fee that is reimbursable by your PTA. The Basic series is position-specific training and is required to be taken every time you are elected or appointed to a new role. Completion of this orientation ensures that all PTA leaders have the same base knowledge of PTA background, policies, and procedures. It is important that all PTA leaders complete the training as soon as possible, ideally within 30 days of election or appointment as described in the bylaws. Each officer and chair completes a written plan of work. These plans of work are presented to and approved by the executive board prior to the first membership meeting in the fall and are used for budgetary planning and overall goal setting. A plan of work lets executive board members know what each executive board member plans for the year so conflicts can be avoided and connections can be made to work together on common purposes. Bylaws provide the essential information for running your PTA. Read them thoroughly and become familiar with them. You must follow the bylaws at all times. Your PTA may also have standing rules, which include the more procedural aspects of your PTA. Standing rules cannot conflict with or duplicate your bylaws. All members of the executive board are expected to attend all meetings of both the executive board and the association, even if an executive board member does not have a report to give at a meeting. They still have a responsibility as a member of the executive board to participate in the accountability and decision-making process. The confidentiality, ethics, and conflict of interest agreement is signed and adopted by the executive board each new term. All executive board members must sign the policy per the bylaws. This policy clearly defines the duties and responsibilities of all executive board members to conduct the business of the PTA in a responsible manner without conflicts of interest. Each executive board member has a responsibility to be aware of the current activities of the PTA and to ensure all records are accurate. The secretary and treasurer depend on fellow executive board members to assist them in their roles by reading and correcting the reports. It is every executive board member's responsibility to recruit members. Your PTA serves as the front door to our association. You should seek out families in your school and community to encourage them to join and make a difference in a child's life. Your first duty in your PTA position is to recruit your replacement. The sustainability of your PTA is dependent on the strength of its leadership. At a glance, these are the primary responsibilities of a membership chair and their committee. We will discuss all of them, but first, let's talk about your committee. One of the first things you should do after being appointed as a membership chair is to find a few people to help you. Nobody should volunteer alone. It's selfish. We want as many people as possible to be able to have the opportunity to impact our students. Developing and working with a committee is critical to a membership chair's success and sanity. It helps accomplish goals and build current and future leaders. Delegating just a few of these type of activities to others will lighten your load and help make membership recruitment truly a year-long adventure. In order to be successful as a membership chair, you will want to do a little research. It is important to know why people join and what can you do or say about the great work PTA is doing to convince them to join your important work. Texas PTA has done some research to get you started. Texas PTA retained McKinley advisors to conduct research with members and non-members to help the association better understand the needs and expectations of these two groups. This graphic shows why people join PTA. Notice that 5 of the top 6 reasons people join PTA has to do with wanting to help or know more about their child's school. Overwhelmingly, people join because they want to be connected to their child's campus. Look at the factors influencing people to join and the factors that are less important to their decision to join. Is anything here surprising to you? How can we use this information to reach out to people? That same study asked non-members what would make them want to join. What does this tell us about recruiting members? Focus your ask on what is important to them. If you knew what you could do or talk about in order to convince non-members to join, how would your recruitment message change? After considering the research commissioned by Texas PTA, it's time to research what has been successful in your own community. Here are some ways you can gather that research. Find out what has been successful for your PTA in the past. Look to the membership rosters and numbers for history regarding who and how many people have been members over the years. Look at your predecessor's procedure book. Survey members to see what they want from your PTA. Short surveys are best because they are completed more often. And use social media to ask a few well thought out questions. Ask the principal what they think would be successful in your community. When you are talking to your principal, find out if there's special events that are particularly well attended that could be used to talk about the importance of PTA and parent engagement for just a couple of minutes. Connect with other PTA leaders in your community and see what they've done that's been successful. Take advantage of any opportunities your council has to speak with other membership chairs and VPs, or if they don't have an opportunity, look at your feeder pattern and make one. Speak to your council leaders to see what suggestions they can offer. Council leaders are experienced local leaders and can be a great resource for ideas. So now that you've got a committee together and you've done your research, it's time to create your recruitment plan based on all of that information. A plan with clearly defined goals will help you communicate with the rest of the board just how you plan to recruit members, report on how many members you have successfully recruited, and how you plan to help engage those members. Be sure to share with everyone, everywhere, what your goals are and how things are progressing towards those goals. Create incentives to help keep people engaged in the goal process and make your goal visual. Pictures can speak louder than words. So, who can join PTA? Of course, you want to ask everyone who believes in and supports our vision, mission, and purposes. Listed here are a few folks you may not have considered before, but each of them share your passion for making every child's potential a reality. Have you invited them to join your PTA? It should go without saying that your entire community should be asked to be part of your PTA, not just your friends and not just your previous members. And study after study, the main reason people don't join PTA is because nobody asked them. Ask. Use the Back the Future resources from Texas PTA. Hold a membership contest between classes or grade levels. Offer discounts to members at PTA events that have fees. Have you tried any of these at your campus? If not, which one will you try first? Don't forget to ask groups that may have not been familiar with the concept of PTA. Consider holding a multicultural event. Recruit parents to help with language challenges. Translators from the community, provide headsets, hold bilingual meetings. Keep your community informed and provide information of value. Which of these will you try today? Men have held important roles in PTA throughout its long history. President Theodore Roosevelt sat on the board of directors of the National Congress of Mothers, predecessor of the National PTA. Men are directly involved in the care and education of their children, and men can bring a different perspective to our programs. It is vital that PTA welcomes and includes men through programs and activities addressing their needs and concerns. Consider creating men-focused groups and events. Communicate directly to men. Challenge current male members to ask others to join. Which one of these are you going to try at your campus? Students are our future. We all know that, but we often ignore that they are also the future of PTA. Students as young as those in elementary school can take on meaningful PTA tasks with adult supervision. Older students make great committee members and, in some cases, committee chairs. PTA can help them learn useful life skills while they are helping us achieve our goals. Publicize the Texas PTA scholarship requirements. Provide service opportunities and hours. Challenge a nearby high school to a friendly student membership competition. These are all great ideas. Which one looks the most interesting to you? And which one are you going to try at your campus? Remember to keep the T in PTA. Teachers often have experience that helps us be more effective and relevant in our programs. We support them, but we need them to support us too. Enlist the help of the principal. Send personalized invitations. Survey all teachers mid-year asking if they joined PTA and why, and if not, why not? Hold a grade level or department membership competition and challenge staff at a nearby school to a friendly competition. Have you tried any of these at your campus? Schools are an integral part of our communities. What better way for community members to find out about what is happening in those schools than to join the PTA and support the students whose families live, work, and shop in the community, the students who are the future of the community. Remind community members to back the future of all students. Speaking of back the future, Texas PTA commissioned a well-known advertising company to help design a long-term membership recruiting campaign for all PTAs to use. This long-term campaign represents our strong belief that an investment in the education of Texas children is an investment in our community's future. It has been used with great success by PTAs and especially by entire councils and communities statewide. It also serves as a branding campaign for PTA. If people see the same theme everywhere, they come to understand that all PTAs work together for the same thing. And the best part for you is that there are lots of resources in both English and Spanish on the Texas PTA website for you to use so you don't have to invent or translate everything from scratch every year. You can actually save materials and use them again and save some money. At the bottom of the slide, you'll notice that we want to see how you are using this theme and how you are recruiting members. We want to see pictures and hear success stories, so be sure to send them to our communications department. Another of our recruiting tools is Join PTA. Ask yourself how easy it is to join your local campus PTA. When you use the traditional membership envelope or flyer, you are using a great tool when you interact with them face-to-face or through a folder messaging system. JoinPTA.org is another option for many PTAs to make it easy for people to join your PTA anytime or any day. Out-of-town family members or those who do not carry cash will find it especially easy to join this way. So why not give people choices on how they would like to join? Distribute membership envelopes, flyers, and activate joinpta.org. Let's talk a little about joinpta.org. Joinpta.org is available free to all PTAs. And with it, you receive a free membership-only account with MyPTEZ. For a local PTA to appear on joinpta.org, they must submit the ACH authorization agreement form at txpta.org/join-PTA. Not only does this make it easier for people to join your PTA, it also makes your job a lot easier. First, as we said, it allows folks to join online using a credit or debit card. But then it gets better because the new member is automatically recorded into your MyPTEZ account. You don't have to do a thing. Do you know who else doesn't have to do anything when people take advantage of this way to join your PTA? Your treasurer. The dues for those people that join your PTA online through joinpta.org are transmitted electronically and automatically to Texas PTA. And then Texas PTA transmits the local portion of the dues back to the local unit based on the information that was inputted into the ACH form. It is a great time-saving tool. Plus, it offers another way to become a member of your PTA. Everyone wins. There is some important things to consider when you begin recruiting members. The membership year is August 1st to July 31st. There is no extension of the membership year for those who join in late spring. If members want to join early for the coming membership year, your treasurer must escrow those dues until August 1st. For example, kindergarten roundup, 6th grade, or 9th grade orientation. Remember that membership recruitment is year-round. Members can join at any time. New people move to your school and should be welcomed by the PTA. Some people might have realized later in the year that joining PTA really is something they want to do. Report new members at least once a month. Dues should be remitted to Texas PTA within 5 days of a member joining your PTA. Information about how to report is covered later in this workshop. Membership cards are provided by Texas PTA and are distributed to your local PTAs prior to school year based on the previous year's membership totals. Additional cards can be ordered once your PTA has mailed membership rosters and dues for at least 90% of previous year membership totals. Dues. To change the amount of dues collected by your local PTA, you must amend your bylaws, and those amendments must be approved by Texas PTA before you change the amount members pay. With a variety of ways people can become a member, you will have to make sure you monitor all the sources. If you are using Join PTA, the members' names will automatically be added to your MyPTEZ account. If you are using a more traditional manner, using an envelope or flyer, keep those membership envelopes and forms until you have transferred all the information on them to your master membership roster. After that is done, please dispose of the paper forms in a secure manner. Create one master membership roster. This can be on your MyPTEZ account. Very easy since members from Join PTA automatically show up there on a spreadsheet, on your computer, or on a paper membership roster. Be sure to share copies of the roster with your treasurer and secretary. Remember, this roster belongs to the PTA and should not be shared with just anyone. However you create your master membership roster, think of it as your own little membership database. It is important to pass along this information to your successor when the time comes so that you can see a comparison from year to year and know who you might want to reach out to during your membership campaign, especially when looking to renew lapsed memberships. Work with your treasurer to mail a copy of the roster with only the new members' names and the appropriate dues at least monthly. When you send dues along with a roster to Texas PTA, you're going to want to send $4.50 per member with that roster. During the first few weeks of school, you may want to send in rosters and dues more often. There are membership awards designed to celebrate each step along your PTA's journey to increased membership. Membership awards are available each month, and to make sure that you qualify for as many of those as possible, you'll want to be submitting new members often. Remember to issue membership cards to members quickly after they have joined. If you choose to keep track of membership using the traditional Texas PTA membership roster, you can record member information on paper or by downloading the Excel spreadsheet at txpta.org/membership. Remember to maintain a copy for your records. Your secretary and treasurer must also have current copies. One of the responsibilities of membership chairs that is often overlooked is celebrating successes. But it is critically important to your success. Success begets success. When you are successful, shout it from the rooftops. People want to be part of a successful group. Celebrating your successes accomplishes two goals, both appreciating members and aiding recruitment. Sharing accomplishments also reminds members that their PTA is part of a larger association that does care about them. Share your successes with your membership. Have you reached a goal or a new milestone? Have you earned an award for staff, men, students, grandparents, community members for joining? Don't forget to share the great things your PTA is doing with the member dollars. Remember why they joined to begin with. Let them know that their efforts and dollars are being put to good use. Feature members online. Write an article or post a story about members. It is an honor for that particular member and could encourage their friends to join. While most membership awards are automatic, don't forget to apply for those that do need an application to be filled out. For example, MARS, student membership, student participation, Golden Apple, and more. Check out txpta.org/membership for all current awards. For membership increase awards, the previous year's membership number is according to Texas PTA records, and all current qualifying membership rosters and dues must be postmarked by the deadline of the award. Most of those will be the end of the month. Keep in mind, it's never a bad idea to mail items in before deadlines, just to make sure there aren't any hiccups along the way. A notification form is only required for special category awards. Local PTAs will also be recognized throughout Texas PTA's social media outlets, and some awards involve being entered into drawings to win prizes. There are many ways to recognize outstanding volunteers for their contributions to your PTA. Many local and council PTAs have unique ways of recognizing volunteers who go the extra mile. Talk to your PTA president or council president to find out if you have these awards. For truly extraordinary work, these awards are available for purchase from Texas and national PTA. Texas PTA Honorary Life Membership Award, Texas PTA Extended Service Award, and National PTA Life Achievement Award. Once you have recruited members, it is important to find ways to make them feel like they are part of something big and important. Engaged members value their membership in your PTA. The dues will seem like a bargain. They are likely to join again next year and invite others to join. Membership chairs work closely with program chairs to share information about what members want and expect from their PTA. Work with hospitality chair to make sure that your PTA is welcoming and friendly to everyone. And work with a communications chair to share PTA information and ask people to join. All executive board members keep a procedure book, either in print or electronically, which contains all the materials important to the work of their office or a committee. This procedure book is passed on to one successor or the president within 15 days of the successor assuming the position. Your procedure book should include a copy of your bylaws and standing rules, current roster of your executive and committee members, all items related to your position, and meeting documents of both the executive board and your committee. Every single executive board member should be knowledgeable on the financial responsibilities of the PTA. Below is basic information on finances that every executive board member needs to be aware of. There's so much more involved in the everyday financial management of a PTA. These are the basics. For more detailed information, see txpta.org/treasurer. Fiduciary responsibility. The Internal Revenue Service, IRS, as included on the Form 990, requires reporting by nonprofits on a range of governance issues that reach far beyond financial reporting, including executive board member fiduciary duty. Executive board members have three fundamental fiduciary duties: a duty of care, a duty of loyalty, and a duty of obedience. The duty of care means that the executive board member actively participates, attends executive board meetings, is educated on the industry, provides strategic direction, and oversees the day-to-day operations of the PTA. The duty of loyalty requires that the executive board member to operate in the interest of the local PTA and not to use the position to further personal agenda. The duty of obedience requires the executive board to know the state and federal laws and regulations that apply. This includes the regulations and guidance issued by the IRS. Obedience to governing documents requires a deep understanding of the operating documents, bylaws, standing rules, board manuals. Finally, obedience requires that the board not act outside the scope of the organization's legal documents. Fiduciary responsibility in a PTA means that the executive board members act as trustees of the organization's assets and must exercise due diligence to oversee that the organization is well managed and that its financial situation remains sound. The executive board verifies that all filing requirements and tax obligations are completed. Budget basics. The budget creates the framework for program management and overall administrative decisions. An approved budget must be in place at all times in order for expenditures to be made and fundraisers to be conducted. The budget is presented and adopted by the membership at the last membership meeting of the year and is amended at the first membership meeting based upon approved plans of work submitted by the new executive board members. The members always approve expenses and income through the budget, which can be amended as needed. Financial reports. To keep people informed, a current financial report is presented at every regular executive board meeting and membership meeting. As the funds belong to the members, they have the right to access the financial reports presented at membership meetings. Financial transactions payments. Payments are never made in cash, and blank checks should never be issued. All payments must relate to an approved budget item and have a reimbursement form with the receipt and/or bill attached. No other organization may pass its money through the PTA account in an effort to achieve tax-exempt status, and money can never be turned over to the school and/or principal to spend at their discretion. Depositing funds. All monies collected are turned over to the treasurer as soon as possible. Money is counted by at least 2 people at the same time, and both counters and the treasurer each sign and keep a copy of the completed Texas PTA deposit form. The treasurer may be one of the 2 counters. Insurance. It is in the PTA's best interest to cover the treasurer and all other persons authorized to handle money with a fidelity bond and officer's liability to cover losses through any fraudulent or dishonest act. Insurance premiums are budgeted as an expense line. For more details on financial procedures for your PTA, please visit txpta.org/treasurer. Use streamlined content. Texas PTA's membership year begins on August 1st. Membership recruitment should be occurring year-round. You can find all membership awards on our websites. Local PTAs must meet the following requirements each year to obtain active status with Texas PTA. Remit to Texas PTA state and national membership dues for at least 20 members. Submit to Texas PTA the name and contact information, mailing address, phone number, and email of at least 1 current executive board member, preferably the president. Local PTAs must comply with all the following standards to remain in good standing with Texas PTA. Maintain active status with Texas PTA. Report all members and remit all state and national dues to Texas PTA each year. Submit to Texas PTA the name and contact information for each executive board member within 15 days of election or appointment. Each executive board member should submit their own contact information through the Submit Board Info link on our website homepage. Review your bylaws and standing rules every 3 years and submit to Texas PTA for approval. Each year, within 60 days of fiscal year end, electronically file and have accepted by the IRS the Form 990 return of organization exempt from income tax. This is sooner than required by the IRS. The outgoing treasurer should file the 990 as soon after the fiscal year ends as possible. Texas PTA staff and volunteer leaders are here to answer any of your questions regarding your position. Our toll-free number is 1-800-TALK-PTA, or email us directly. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope that this training has been beneficial and it will make your PTA work easier and more enjoyable. If you have any questions in the future, please know that your field service representative and council leaders are always ready to help.